Shalom, I am Prophet Jonathan Bridges, and welcome to Building Bridges, where we not only desire to build people, but to build myself in the things of Yahweh, and to build bridges or connections to people all over the world. Well, here we are still in the series of Why You So Thirsty. And in the first part of this series, we started out dealing with Samson, and now we have segued over to dealing with Delilah. And we started with the book of Judges, which I want to read again to put this in your understanding, again, as the foundation of where we're going. So my bricklayers, let's go to Judges 16:4-6. And it reads, verse 4, "And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and said to her, Entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him and afflict him, and we will give thee, every one of us, 1,100 pieces of silver. And Delilah said to Samson, Tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee." So this is the reading of our scripture today. And I've been prompted. I know we do a lot of joking and stuff, not saying that we're not going to get into any of that today, but something that's been really sitting heavy in my spirit concerning Delilah in this series is how long are we going to constantly remain in a position where we are subject to other people's feelings, thoughts, and what it is that they're going through? This is something that I really want you to think about, that this is a time that we really need to wake up and shake ourselves and really look at the situation that we're in, look at the people that's around us. And we need to really start counting up the costs and ask ourselves, is this person or are these individuals really necessary to the progress that's going on in our lives? Sometimes we need to wake up and snap out of these situations that we actually have ourselves in, whether it may be a friend, a family member, whoever it may be, church members, leadership, whatever it is. It's time for us to snap out of it and wake up and make a decision. As an old mentor used to say to me a long time ago, we only get to go around this thing one time. This life is short. So you need to ask yourself, am I going to spend this short life of mine subject to somebody else's feelings, somebody else's thoughts, somebody else's concerns? Or am I going to spend this life thinking about what it is that the Father wants me to do, what he wants me to do with my life, how he wants me to spend it? We're hanging too much of our time on other people. And I really need to say that. And I pray that you snap back to yourself, snap back to what it is that Yahweh wants you to be and intended you to be. Snap back to reality. Come on here. It's time for us to come out of the place where we're a prime target. It's time for us to switch speeds. Come on here. Like Bruce Lee. Come on here. Switch your speeds. Quit doing the same fighting position, the same fighting technique over and over. Quit sitting in your church. Come on here. That you know in your heart of hearts, in your spirit, that you're not being fed. Quit sitting in a place, come on here, where you're not receiving nothing but fodder. Are you there for the purpose, come on here, of the kingdom? Or are you there to check off a box? Are you there because it's a fashion show and you want to show off your new outfit? Or are you there because Yahweh has you there and there's kingdom purpose? Are you there because somebody else wants you there? Or are you there because Yahweh desires that you be there? It's time to make a decision, people. And I know I joke a lot, but this is really sitting in my spirit, and there's a righteous anger that's in me right now concerning this situation, concerning these Delilahs that's in your life right now. Change has to come, not later, not I'm thinking about it. It's time to get away with that procrastination spirit now. Quit dancing around things. Quit sitting there waiting for something to change. You change it. All right.
Yes.
All of my bricklayers, all of my Bible scholars, come on here. Y'all know what to do. Hit that like button. Stick with us to the end of this message, because I promise that you're going to be blessed. Again, this is righteous anger. This is the anger of Yahweh, that I want to see that you be free, in not only in your body, but in your mind. Come on here, that your spirit be free, that your spirit man be free to do the things that Yahweh desire you to be. Okay. Yeah. All right. Verse 4 read, and it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek. And last week we dealt with that word Sorek. And in my studies today, I paused and I really looked at that word valley. And that word valley, there is, when you think about a valley, it's symbolic. This not in your notes, baby. I just got this. It's symbolic of moments of struggle. It's symbolic of setback. It's symbolic of the feeling of loss, or the place of being defeated. It's symbolic of places of being overwhelmed. Are you listening to me, my bricklayers? So sometimes we meet people that are in these valleys of struggle, people that are in these valleys, come on here, of setback, people who are at these low points. This is what valleys represent. And biblically, when you look at it, it's symbolic of difficult circumstances. So we meet people in these difficult circumstances. So sometimes when we run across these people, they're going through what I want to call valley experiences. And when you connect yourself to these people, you likewise connect yourself to their experiences. Come on here. You connect yourself to their valley experiences. But the optimistic side, or the blessed side of this, is that the reason that you're there, not why Samson was there. I want you to steer your boat in a different direction from where he was going. The reason that you're there is for you to gain insight. Come on here, to gain development and understanding, and to teach you, come on here, why you're in that situation. You can choose to resist or not go through this valley experience. But a lot of times, how many of us know that the valley is the least path of resistance? This is what appears to be the open way. So Yahweh will send us through these valley experiences so that we can gain, come on here, the knowledge that we need. There's a quote that I learned some time ago that it says, smooth waters don't make skillful sailors. That's powerful. Why is that powerful? Because if we go through this life always having smooth waters, always, just trolleying on down through the waters with no problems, you'll never be a skillful sailor. So in this situation, in your situation, when you run into these people who are in these valleys, this is for the purpose of you to hit these troubled waters, to give you the experience, the understanding and knowledge and wisdom of that situation. Don't be fearful of these valleys. Because the scripture says to us in Psalms, yea, though I walk yea, though I go through the valley of death, right? Is that what it is? I will fear no evil. Let me make sure I got that scripture right. Hold on one second. All right, yeah, here it is. I got a little charged and excited there. I want to make sure I quote this right. Psalms 23:4. You don't have to go there, but I'm sure everybody, my scholars, my bricklayers, you know this. Yahweh is with us, and according to the scripture, it says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Are you listening to what I'm saying? So when you're in these valley experiences, realize that Yahweh is there with you to protect you and give you the strength, and not only give you strength with the rod. Come on here. He's there to comfort you while you're going through it. Y'all remember when Yeshua was on that boat and it was being rocked and reeled and tossed about? The disciples, they was going crazy and everything was shaking in that demonstration. And they were saying to themselves, how come you so calm? And Yeshua, he understood who he was. He understood his purpose. He understood, come on here, that he had power over those things. So I'm saying to you, when you're around these type of individuals, come on here, that's in these valleys, I'm saying to you that you have to be strong in those valleys. You have to understand who you are and what your purpose is. And when you understand who you are and what your purpose is, you can't be derailed from what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Come on here. So this woman, she was in this valley. She was in this low place of Sarek. And when we dealt with the word Sarek last time, we found out that it was a Hebrew word and it meant a vine, right? And my wife, she had a revelation, because these vines, we're talking about vines where they grew grape purple colored grapes. My brain was sitting there fighting with me, trying to think about grape Kool-Aid. Come on here. Because y'all know when we talk about Kool-Aid, we call it by its color. We don't say the flavor. What kind of Kool-Aid is that? It's red, it's orange, it's purple. But these are purple grapes. And the revelation that my wife came up with, she talked about that wine vat. There it is. I had to write it down in my notes so I don't lose it. That wine vat. And what they used to do with these wine vats is that they would fill these big old tubs with grapes, and people would step down in them and step on the grapes. And this is how they crush the grapes to make wine. So this is the revelation that she gave to me. If you're not careful with these people, come on here, that are in these valleys and these low places, these people, come on here, that want to juice you. Remember, we talked about that revelation last time. They squeeze grapes to juice them. If you're not careful, they're going to be stepping on you. Come on here, stepping on you. Why? So that you can be under their feet. Are you listening to what I'm saying? And when they step on you, come on here, what they're desiring to do is to cause your fruit, come on here, to be squeezed up out of you. So this is the reason that we got to be careful with these individuals, because if you're not careful, you're going to end up in a position where you're prostrate, laid down, and they're going to be walking all over you. Come on here, crushing you. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Come on here. If you feel like this is for somebody that you know, share this. Share this video with somebody. It's right there at the bottom of the video. It's a little arrow doing like this here. Come on here, that away. Send it that away. Are you listening to what I'm saying? All right. So let's move on. So she was a woman in the valley of Sarek, a vine. And what I was looking at when I was studying this last time, it made me think about, y'all remember that old social media site which was called The Vine. I think it was back in around 2013. And when they were talking about the vine, you would hear this phrase. If any of you are familiar with this, I'm sure everybody remembers this. Do it for the vine. You remember that? Do it for the vine. This started back in 2013. And when somebody would say do it for the vine, what they would do is they would take out their phone and start recording you. And when they say that, they would start recording you. What is supposed to do is supposed to put a social pressure on you, which will make you do whatever it is that they daring you to do. So this is what we have to be careful of when we're dealing with these type of individuals. We're dealing with these type of individuals, these men or these women that's in our lives. What they're seeking to do is to put social pressure on you. Come on here, are you listening? And social pressure is a combination of different types of pressure. And the two different pressures that I wanted to deal with, because there are several other pressures. You have peer pressure and you have what's called social economic pressure. Now, peer pressure, when you're dealing with these type of individuals, peer pressure is what's called a conformity type of pressure. In other words, they're trying to get you to conform to what it is that they're doing. When you have your peers around, what ends up happening is that you start to degrade who you are or change who you are for the purpose of fitting into what they're doing. And this peer pressure, a lot of times this conformity type of pressure, we see this pressure used in the church system. Oh, goodness gracious. Come on here, somebody. This is a pressure that you see operate in the church. And it sounds like this in the spirit: one of us, be one of us. It's almost like you being put into a trance, almost like a chant or whatever. And this peer pressure, if you're not careful, you'll end up part of a church and you'll see things happening in that church that you know in your spirit, man, that this ain't right. What they doing right here, this is too traditional. This is too religious. Come on here. This is not of Yahweh. Come on here. This is not what Yahshua was teaching. Come on here. This is not what the prophets was teaching. Are you listening to what I'm saying? So when you're in this peer pressure, what it does is it starts to put you into a place where you start to be pressured into being exactly what it is that they are. And if you're not careful, you end up amalgamating or becoming one of them. And then when a new member comes in, the process, wash, rinse, repeat, starts all over again. So now, not only have you been pressured into doing something that you know ain't right, that you know in your spirit is not of, come on here, the kingdom, not of Yahweh, you start peer pressuring that new member that comes in to do exactly what it is that you should have fought against to begin with. This is peer pressure. So how many of us understand, come on here, by raising our hands, we got to understand that we're not there for our peers to put pressure on us, but we should be applying pressure to our peers. Oh, somebody need to put that in the comments right there. I think that was real heavy. We're not going to allow our peers to put pressure on us. We're going to apply pressure to our peers. Come on here, kingdom. Come on here, Yahweh. Come on here, the Ruach HaKodesh. Come on here, somebody listen to me, Yahshua. Come on here. We going to teach what the kingdom is talking about. All this stuff that you're doing out of tradition and religion, that is not what it is. Take off that garbage that you're wearing. That's part of Christianity. Come on here. That fake, pseudo, false religious stuff that you're doing. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Come on here. So like I said, you got peer pressure and you have social economic pressure. And that social economic pressure refers to inequalities surrounding wealth, education, and status. These factors may play a role in a person's life decisions, such as career and family choices. Why am I talking about this? Social economic pressure happens in the church also. And you'll see this sometimes in the form of the Lord is telling me right now that somebody has $100 seed. And if they sow this $100 seed, I'm telling you right now that God is going to bless you with A, B, and C. And what happens with social economic pressure, what it does is it causes not one individual, but multiple individuals say, hey, I need to be able to meet that social economic pressure and do what everybody else is doing. There go one person sowing that 100, there go a person sowing 200, there go a person over there sowing 50. So now I need to sow the same thing. Are you listening to what I'm saying? So this is what the enemy desires to do, is to put pressure on you. How many of us know that pressure busts pipes? So this is what Yahweh wants us to really consider right here today. As I said, I woke up with a righteous anger in me, and I really want to see people change. I really want to see you wake up. I really want you to be able to wake up and look at your situation and laugh and say, no more and no longer am I going to walk in this. No more, no longer am I going to let these people or this individual change who it is that I am. No longer and no more am I going to allow somebody else's feelings, somebody else's well-being, somebody else's status or whatever to dictate to me what it is that the kingdom say I should be doing. I hope this has blessed you. And if it has, I only ask that you do one thing, is always pass it on to somebody else so that they can be blessed with this also. And we're going to continue in this same vein again with Delilah, because we're going to open up some things, because we are about to not put pressure on you, but we're going to put pressure on the enemy. Yes. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Bless Yahweh. Bless my bricklayers. Yes. Shalom. Whew.